The meaning of the movie author Orpheus to read for minutes published 1.07. 2020 updated 1.07. 2020 The cartoon Potets is the penultimate work of animation director Alexander Fedulov. He released it together with screenwriter Marina Vishnevetskaya in 1992. The picture was based on the eponymous work of the Soviet poet Alexander Vydensky, written in the second half of the 1930s. For a long time the text remained forbidden by censorship, and only in 1989 to 1990 it was first published in the Soviet press. It is believed that it was this publication that prompted the authors to create the cartoon. The meaning of the cartoon, Potets, is, first and foremost, a cartoon for adults. Such a concept did not fit well with the established opinion in the country that a cartoon is a work for children. Potets was created in a crisis, immediately after the collapse of the Soviet Union. This affected the financing of cartoonists and the quality of the final product. As a result, the picture turned out to be quite creepy, grotesque, but then, in the early 1990s, TV channels inserted it into children's cartoon blocks. Soon it became clear that Potets, this is not a children's show, and it was removed from the broadcasting grid. For hire cartoon was also not intended, so for many years he was forgotten about it. Only in 2008, thanks to the efforts of enthusiasts, or primarily Marina Vishnevetskaya, the cartoon was digitized and put on the internet. The plot is based on the story of three sons who are trying to find out from their dying father what a sweat is. The peculiarity of the cartoon is that the text comes first, and visual images only supplement it, helping to better digest the author's message. Perhaps only Vydensky alone knows exactly what meaning is hidden in the work. However, there are several curious versions on this subject. According to one of them, the cartoon reflects the way children perceive the death of their father. They treat it lightly, trying to ward it off, although they realize that their father's death is inevitable. According to another version, the cartoon Potets is a metaphor of human life. The sons on the screen pass their way from youth to deep old age, without accomplishing anything meaningful or useful in this life. It is a kind of reminder that man is mortal, and one should not waste one's years on trifles, then there will be no time left for really important things. This idea has received an original development. According to one version, the father himself is life. By asking him questions, the sons try to find out, what is Potets? Some also argue that the father is the embodiment of Russia, and the sons are its rulers. The picture combines the spiritual, psychological and religious, and everything that happens on screen is an allegory for the social and economic decline of the 90s. This is a pretty strong statement, and it has a right to life. But let's not forget that the authors relied primarily on the text of the 30s, so it is this text, not the changes in the lives of Soviet citizens, that fills the picture with meaning. Anyway, the main theme of the cartoon is the mystery of death. The plot is based on the unwillingness of the sons to recognize the mortal nature of man and the desire to find an answer to the most important question of mankind: what will happen to them after death? As the plot progresses, the sons lose their temper, and by the end of the movie they are hysterically trying to find out the answer to the riddle that has tormented them for so long. This is when they realize that they are not eternal, and death will take its toll sooner or later. What is it to eat sweat? In fact, the sons never get an answer to this question. It is given to the audience by the author, who acts as a separate character. He says, "Sweat is the sweat on the forehead of a dead person." Shortly before, the nurse appears and takes the father with her. This is how the moment of his death is described. Then we see the three sons, who have aged considerably by this time, memorialize their father. The father was never able to explain to the children in words what Potets is, because it is a concept that cannot be described in words. Potets is not just a death sweat. It is what will happen to a person when he is gone. Potets is a riddle that the sons try to find the answer to throughout the work. They try in vain to find out what happens when the soul separates from the human body. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the living cannot grasp this concept. The time will come, and the sons will learn firsthand what a sweat is.